garden zone lies. Different areas, same amazing soil. What is my garden zone? It's one of the most searched topics on the net right now. And does it even really matter? Here's the hard rule that most beginning gardeners get wrong. And it's the only rule you need to know in the garden. There is no rule. And yes, we have some basic guidelines. I mean, we're going to plant some cucumbers right now. If you look at the back of the packet, we've got hardness zones. Most seed packets have a general description on the back of when and how to plant just about anything you buy. And if you translate that, and if you translate this across the United States, they've got it sort of carved out. The lower area here is zone 8, then 7, 6, 5, 4, moving on up to Alaska. And I've had quite a few viewers write in, and they've been talking about the weather in their area. But if you look across the map here, your hardness zone is not a rule. It's just a basic guide, and it's an average. It's the average first and last frost dates over a multitude of years. While I finish putting a few more cucumbers on this trellis, let's go ahead and see the difference in the zones. Let's go on down to Orlando, Florida, and that's zone 8, and see exactly what Bruce is doing right now. He's harvesting. We've been watching Bruce plant all spring while we've been shivering. Now he's harvesting. Just check out those yard-long beans. And that melon is wonderful. Bruce, I'm jealous. I'm just now starting to put my melon seeds in. And in some areas, talking about zones might feel a little ridiculous. And actually today, nature flipped a switch. It went from really cool mornings and really wet, although it looks like it's going to rain some more, to 90 degrees today. Summer's here at full force. Now I feel like I'm behind as far as planting. But if I would have put the tomatoes and sweet potatoes in my garden any sooner than I have, they wouldn't have survived. They'd have just been sitting there with cold roots. So I'm going to put a couple cantaloupe here on this trellis. Cantaloupe trellis really well. And while I do that, we got some new contributors. Let's go ahead and take a look at what they're doing in their gardens. John brings us an extraordinary idea from West Virginia, the mobile garden. When you've got a lot of trees in your area and you need to get enough sun, you start your tomatoes in movable carts or on the back of a pickup truck. John, that's very creative, thank you. Now Tom's showing us his early raised beds are coming along really well in the mixed deep mulch, and he's got the full armada of early vegetables. Steve wanted to let us know what deep mixed mulch does to a pepper plant. Over the last 2 years, he's had to become very creative with his trellising and bring out a ladder. He said we can do this too. John, Tom, Steve, thank you, and welcome to this community. Aren't our contributors wonderful? And they bring a ton of new ideas to this group. I invite you to become a member. There is no obligation. It doesn't cost anything. You just send in a few photos now and again. Let us celebrate what's going on in your garden. After all, this is where we get ideas. This is where we get inspiration, and I get the motivation to come out here every day and show you just exactly what's possible in a deep mixed mulch garden. I always ask about squash and trellising. Some squash I found trellis really well. Your spaghetti squash, which is a winter squash, that does really well. Now, this cushaw, they trellis really well, and they make great big squash. So we're gonna go ahead and plant some of that right here. And I do have something coming up here on its own that is a squash or a cucumber, or I'll find out here pretty quick. But your summer squashes, your zucchinis, your yellow crookneck, I've been told you can trellis those with a string and kind of guide them up. I've never been successful doing that. I've seen pictures. I think it's kind of cool, but they tend to like to stay on the ground. Some of your butternuts, they don't like to trellis very well. Your acorn squash doesn't like to trellis very well. But then if you get in your melons, you wouldn't think a watermelon would trellis very well, but it will. That fruit gets kind of heavy. You do kind of want to get some kind of cradle underneath it. But your cantaloupe, which we just planted, that trellises really well. And you know when it's ripe, right there at this stem, it starts to peel, and then you can harvest it, but it'll hold on till then. But let me get this in the ground. We'll go ahead and take a look at a couple more of our contributors. We've been with Eddie this spring, and his deep mix mulch garden is starting to take off. We look forward to the progress throughout the year. Thank you, Eddie. Mary in Zone 8 harvested onions last week. This week, garlic. Her deep mix mulch garden is producing very well. Aren't our viewers awesome? Please leave a comment down below and let everybody know just how much you appreciate them sharing what's going on in their garden. Hit that subscribe button. We're getting close to 70,000 people that like to get their hands dirty and grow things that taste good. So you can really see the difference between the zones and what's going on as far as what they're doing. Now, using the zones as a baseline of your first frost date and your last frost date is a good idea. But what I found here in the deep mix mulch, you can moderate the temperature of the soil, and there's some of the cool weather crops you can start earlier and go longer. There's some of the medium weather crops that you can start a little sooner. Obviously your hot weather crops, they want the nighttime temperature to be at least 70 degrees before they're going to really take off. So there's no point in starting those early. And if you're in zone 5 and 4, and if you have some elevation, you're in the mountains, you still have the risk of getting some frost. Your cabbages and your lettuces and your kales, all the brassicas should be in and going really well. And I've got a really good comparison about Zone 7. Where different areas may be the same as far as zones going across the United States, the geographical differences vary greatly. I mean, with the Atlantic Ocean over there, Pacific Ocean over here, that creates some warmer zones. So Zone 7 over here versus Zone 7 here is completely different. I'm here in Zone 7, right in the heart of America. About an hour, hour and a half south of me, we got Walter. Take a look at Walter's garden. Walter is just now digging his Pontiac red potatoes, and he grew those in mixed deep mulch in an urban environment where he had a heat island effect. His tomatoes are small. His beans and his cucumbers are just now germinating and just now starting. You go to North Carolina, Michelle and Larry's garden, and just look at their squash in their containers. They're also in town, and they also have a heat island effect. But they also have the in-ground, and their berries are starting to ripen, and their tomatoes are ripening. Right here in Zone 7 in my garden, I just barely got my tomatoes started to go into the ground. It's all Zone 7, but you can see the difference. So it's just a guide in your area. And after you've gardened for a while, you kind of know what's going to happen right in your area with the stuff that you have. And aside from a bunch of amaranth and blackberries trying to take over the blueberries, we got froze so hard, I see one blueberry right here out of all of these bushes. That just goes to show you that hardness zone, that's only a guide. But then again, I think our blackberries got about a week's left and they ought to be turning black. We ought to have a decent little harvest there. And our volunteer Swiss chard patch is just amazing. Is a hardness zone a hard and fast rule? Well, not really, but it gives you a good guide. I mean, you don't want to put sweet potatoes out in March. You don't want to put spinach out in August. You're not going to be very successful. But if you know your first frost date and your last frost date, and you put your garden in mixed deep mulch, you're going to have a pretty good shot at growing something you like to eat. And has anybody ever said you can't have enough beets? Oh. I'm going to have that for dinner. The tomato, basil, parsley, basil, tomato we put in 2 weeks ago, they're doing really well. We're just about ready to dig this potato patch, and I need to because I got other things I want to put in the ground. Haven't decided what yet. But this year's garden has got more food coming up than I've planted. It's quite chaotic. Anywhere I have room, I'm either putting mulch down or I'm putting a seed in the ground. You can do this too. And then the hardest work you're ever going to do is harvest. Now, if you want to know why this soil looks so good on my garden and everybody else's garden with the mixed deep mulch, I've written a little guide. I've also written a little longer book giving my philosophy around the garden. You wouldn't hurt my feelings if you checked it out, and you'd help the mission. Until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.